Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about the upcoming bout between Khamzat Chimaev, Robert Whittaker, UFC middleweight division. Specifically, Khamzat Chimaev's plan to face Robert Whittaker. But before getting started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel, your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. Khamzat Chimaev is set to face Robert Whittaker, I believe, June 22nd in Saudi Arabia. Super excited for this fight. Not many fighters that can captivate the audience like Khamzat Chimaev does. Most certainly, and I think it's a double-edged sword. It's a good and a bad thing. Obviously, us as the fans, we love the entertainment factor. That's why we tune in. We want to see knockouts and beautiful submissions and what have you. But like I said, it's a double-edged sword for the fighter himself. Obviously, not many fighters can bring as many eyes to the game as Khamzat Chimaev can. Obviously, this is a business at the end of the day, and that's how these guys get paid. The more pay-per-views you sell, the bigger your compensation for said fight's going to be. It's very simple. 1 + 1 = 2. So there is that aspect. I do understand that this is a source of frustration for some fighters sometimes. And we hear a lot about fighters complaining about, especially in the UFC, complaining about the pay. But it's not, you don't necessarily get paid for your skill as much as it is for, obviously, bringing eyes to the octagon. And at the end of the day, if people want to watch you fight, they'll pay to watch you fight, and that's how you get paid. So I do understand that Khamzat Chimaev perhaps feeds off that energy. He feeds off the crowd, and that serves as a double-edged sword. Like I said, obviously that can hype you up to win fights, but also it can overhype you and it can cost you fights. The closest fight that comes into mind between, let's say, Khamzat Chimaev and anybody else is the Gilbert Burns fight. I brought this up in previous videos. Khamzat Chimaev was too eager to put Gilbert Burns away, a sturdy fight, one of the sturdiest fighters in that welterweight division. Still, I believe. And Gilbert Burns almost put Khamzat Chimaev away. At least on one occasion, for sure, he almost put Khamzat Chimaev away. Khamzat Chimaev did not mix his game up as well as he should have with Gilbert Burns and almost cost him a fight. So, like I said, us as the fans, we love seeing the action. We love seeing brawlers. Obviously, nobody wants to see a boring fight. But with Robert Whittaker, in many ways, Khamzat Chimaev has to make it a boring fight, because I look at Robert Whittaker as the bigger, better version of Gilbert Burns. Despite fighting at a higher weight class, I believe Robert Whittaker is the better fighter in terms of movement. And most certainly, I think that Robert Whittaker possesses the better boxing skills. So it's not going to take much for Robert Whittaker to put Khamzat Chimaev away. And we all know that the winner of this fight faces the champion of that middleweight division sometime in the future. So I believe that Khamzat Chimaev is going to mix up his game. At least the people in his camp they have to bring this up to him. And obviously, I think he's going to rely more on his wrestling than he did in previous fights. Not saying that taking Robert Whittaker down and holding him down is going to be an easy task, but most certainly Khamzat Chimaev has to mix up his game with Robert Whittaker. He cannot meet fire with Robert Whittaker. I think Robert hits harder out of the two. And most certainly, if he rushes Robert Whittaker, he is the likelihood of him being put away by Robert Whittaker are much higher than they were against a Gilbert Burns. Like I said, Robert Whittaker, I look at Robert Whittaker as the better, stronger fighter and the faster fighter out of the two, despite fighting at a higher weight class and being the bigger guy. So Khamzat has to keep this in mind. Obviously, he has to, I believe, implement his takedowns. This is the most important thing. Make it annoying. Just to shoot for takedowns and make it an ugly fight in many ways, and not fight fire with Robert Whittaker, because if I think standing up, most certainly Robert Whittaker will have the upper hand over a Khamzat Chimaev. I expect Khamzat to throw wild shots as well when this fight is standing up. Expect knees and flying knees, and this one is really set to be one of the fights of the year when it does happen, when it is official. I don't think anything's official as of yet, but I'm super excited for this fight, and I think the only way for Khamzat to beat a Robert Whittaker is for Khamzat to implement his takedown game, wear Robert Whittaker out, initial stages of the fight, and then later on, perhaps when he gasses Robert Whittaker out, he can start perhaps throwing his striking in the latter stages of the fight. But also, I would like to add, I really, it's hard for me to see Khamzat Chimaev putting away a Robert Whittaker unless it's via submission. Knocking Robert Whittaker out, I'm not sure if Khamzat has what it takes to knock Robert Whittaker out, unless he wears the guy out initial stages of the fight, take him down multiple times, or at least shoot, and in the latter stages of the fight, utilize striking to put Robert Whittaker away, or perhaps take Robert Whittaker down and submit Robert Whittaker. But it's not going to be an easy task for Khamzat Chimaev or for Robert Whittaker, in all honesty. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and like, subscribe for more.